The Epstein Files. Just the name is enough to send a shiver down the spine of the global elite, isn't it? Well, the documents are out, and honestly, they read like a who's who of power and influence. So today, we're going to unpack the most shocking allegations and really look at the powerful figures caught in this unbelievably dark and disturbing web. The whole idea here is as simple as it is horrifying. On January 30th, 2026, the lid was blown off a secret world. We're talking about a release of 3.5 million pages and 1.8 million photos. And what they show is this: a hidden network connecting the most powerful people on the planet to a secret world of just unimaginable abuse. The source material really paints a chilling picture. It describes a place they called a cesspool, a world where the elite operated completely beyond the reach of morality, allegedly preying on children in a place where law, shame, and just basic humanity, they just disappeared. It was a world built for them, by them. So who was actually in this dark world? Well, the answer is just as shocking as the allegations themselves. We're going to start at the very top, in the world of presidents and princes. Okay, first up, former US President Bill Clinton. You know, the global statesman we see on the world stage. But the files, they paint a very different picture. His name shows up thousands of times, and flight logs confirm he flew on Epstein's infamous private jet, the Lolita Express, a staggering 26 times. Then there's Donald Trump, and according to the files, this relationship was way more than casual. We're talking a deep personal connection. Documents allegedly show 14 private phone numbers, and there's testimony of his frequent visits to Epstein's Palm Beach home, where girls were supposedly paraded. There are even some claims that his wife, Melania, was introduced to him through this whole network. And the allegations just keep getting more intense. There's an email claiming a foreign sheikh gifted his virgin daughter to Trump as a present. Other claims suggest he actually monitored children's fashion competitions to find targets. Now, it's really important to say his team dismisses all of this as just political propaganda. And it's also been confirmed that a lot of those viral photos you might have seen of him with children are, in fact, AI fakes. This scandal even reached the British royal family with Prince Andrew. The files paint him as a regular on Epstein's island. And there, victims testified that underage girls were sent to him like gifts. They described his alleged behavior as being particularly cruel, saying he was a man who believed his royal status put him way, way above the law. And the consequence for all this alleged cruelty? This number, right here, $12 million. Prince Andrew paid a reported $12 million to his accuser, Virginia Joffrey, in an out-of-court settlement just to make a civil case go away. He has never admitted any guilt. But, you know, this network didn't just stop with political power. It stretched deep into the worlds of tech and science and philanthropy, pulling in some of the most brilliant and celebrated minds of our time. And this is where the story gets even stranger. We all know Bill Gates as the global health philanthropist, right? The man trying to save the world. But then you look at these 7 unsent email drafts from Epstein, found in the files, and they make this absolutely shocking claim that Gates had relations with Russian girls, contracted an STD, and then begged Epstein for some kind of secret antidote to hide it from his wife. Now, while Gates' team flatly denies these allegations, his now ex-wife, Melinda French Gates, made this pretty damning public statement. She explicitly said his relationship with Epstein was one of the key reasons for their divorce. That suggests this was a very serious problem long before any of us ever heard about it. And then we get to maybe the most jarring name on this entire list, Stephen Hawking, the legendary physicist, an icon of human intellect. The files contain testimony alleging he visited Epstein's island and watched unclothed young girls perform complex calculations on a blackboard. It just forces you to ask this chilling question. Was one of the most brilliant minds ever using his physical helplessness to mask a moral black hole? But hold on, there is a counter theory here, and it's rooted in how Epstein operated. See, he reportedly funded some of Hawking's research. So was he using the famous scientist's presence to give his island this air of intellectual legitimacy? You know, a respectable cover for its truly sinister purpose? And the list of tech titans just keeps going. Next up, Elon Musk. In a leaked 2012 email, Musk allegedly tells Epstein he's frustrated with work and asks when the wildest party would be held on his island. Now, Musk has repeatedly denied ever visiting, but the email does suggest an awareness of, and maybe even an interest in, the wild activities that were supposedly happening there. So that's the who. But the how is just as important. I mean, how did all of this actually work? Let's take a look at the mechanics of Epstein's alleged operation and the absolutely crucial role played by his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. According to the files, Maxwell's method was this predatory three-step process. First, she would target vulnerable girls, girls who needed money or a boost in their career. Second, she would lure them in with promises of help from the powerful Jeffrey Epstein. And finally, she would isolate them and facilitate their abuse.
But here's the kicker. The ultimate goal wasn't just abuse. According to witnesses, Epstein's properties were elaborately rigged with secret cameras and hidden tunnels. And the purpose? To allegedly record his powerful guests in compromising situations, creating a massive treasure trove of blackmail material to control some of the most influential people on the entire planet.
Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. With all of these revelations now public, what about accountability? Is justice ever really going to be served for the people at the top? Okay, before we dive into the official outcomes, let's just address the absolute darkest rumor that's been circulating on social media: cannibalism. To be crystal clear, the official documents do not contain direct evidence of this. However, the files do contain horrific terms like permission to murder, which might explain why such extreme and disturbing theories have managed to take hold. So what about that justice? Well, just look at this scorecard. Despite direct victim testimony, Prince Andrew just settles out of court. Despite 26 flights on the Lolita Express, there's no investigation into Bill Clinton. And despite really serious allegations against Trump and Gates, they deny the claims and also face no investigation. For the most powerful, there have been virtually zero legal repercussions. And that's exactly why these files are so much more than just a list of names in some scandal. They represent a fundamental betrayal. This is about the murder of the trust that ordinary people are supposed to have in their leaders, their icons, and their institutions. Which leaves us with one final, haunting question. When the very people at the top of our society are accused of the lowest possible acts and the system itself fails to respond, who is left to hold them accountable?
We are currently looking at a messy combination of deep-rooted corruption, vehement denials, and unverified theories. Whether these allegations stem from actual complicity, potential blackmail via hidden cameras, or merely networking in high places remains to be fully proven in a court of law. Ultimately, the public is left to decide if this is a true exposure of a white-collar criminal network or if wealth and influence will once again silence the truth, leaving these files as nothing more than pieces of paper. Thank you all for your time and for engaging with this difficult and complex topic. Goodbye and have a nice day.